So this is interesting. I'm on a Thruxton 900, which is the, I guess, Cafe Racer-esque Triumph they make. 900cc V-twin, so it should have plenty of torque. It's not a sport bike, it's pretty heavy, but it is definitely a unique experience to ride this thing. I don't want to take it too hard on any of these things, and I don't want to fucking crash this bike, but it feels very unique. You know, the handlebars aren't as low as probably a street triple because the seat's kind of low, so you're not really crouched forward, you're kind of upright, but it's a little bit awkward, I think. The seat has these lips right underneath your legs that kind of pouch out and don't really feel that ergonomic, because I guess it's like an older style, so this is pre-ergonomic bikes. Definitely looks really cool, especially with the single round headlight and stuff, and it's a very unique bike. You know, you're not going to see anything like this on the road. This bike has 49 miles right now, and I don't know what the break-in is, but we're gonna break the break-in schedule and kind of just have some fun on this. But yeah, this is very different from anything that I've ridden. Unlike the Street Triple or the Daytona or any of the other Triumphs I've ever tried, this has a lot more vibrations through the handlebars and stuff. You know, it feels like an old bike, but I guess the beauty of the Thruxton is you have that old style and classiness and everything, but at the same time you have modern day reliability, you know, modern day tolerances and suspension and stuff. So it's all the great things that they have out today, plus the cool styling of old bikes. So it's really neat. I'm definitely a real big fan of the way it looks. I really like this green and gold. I think it looks really sweet in the Thruxton. And out of all of Triumph's classic bikes, like the Bonneville, Scrambler, all that stuff, I think the Thruxton definitely does have the coolest look to it. Even these, you know, bar and mirrors are pretty slick looking, and this does not have the aftermarket exhaust like the Aero pipes or anything like that, but I'm sure if it did, it would sound really sweet. You know, with the stock exhaust, it's pretty quiet, but I'm sure you put on some aftermarket pipes, it's going to sound pretty sweet. The brakes are good. They're not amazing, but at the same time, this bike feels a lot more stable, and, you know, the brakes feel way more powerful than that 1999 I guess YZF 600R, whatever we rented last weekend. So this is definitely modern day components with classic styling, which is really unique. Very awesome. You got the spoke wheels, you know, a little bit of chrome on it, not too much. You know, if you really hate the chrome, you could probably get some black parts to replace them with, but I just think this thing looks really, really cool. And the ride isn't bad either. You know, it's very, at idle, it's, what's that? At idle, it's very quiet, no vibrations, and then once you get on it, towards 8,000 RPMs, you feel it through your handlebars, but even the mirrors are vibrating. You can't really see, they're really blurry, but you know, that's just part of the experience, you know, the V-twin. It's part of it. But I'm sure people have ridden bikes like this when they were growing up at my age, you know, and they, you know, are a little bit older now, and they want something that kind of gives them that nostalgic look and feel and everything. Something like this is not expensive, very reliable, cheap to run. I'm sure it's cheap to insure too, because it's not, you know, the most powerful bike in the world, but at the same time, you know, you could go out and have a good time and do some back roads, and, you know, it's not going to be sketchy because this thing is built in 2013, not, you know, the 60s or, you know, 70s, so you have modern day, you know, machining to help make these tolerances on everything pretty high. So it's like the peace of mind of having a, you know, bike that functions and works perfectly, plus the awesome look. So I'm definitely a fan of it. I mean, I'm 24 years old, and this styling really appeals to me, so I can imagine people who are older than me really like it. So I'm such a fan of this bike. You know, it takes some getting used to, you know, switching from any bike, you know, coming from a CBR 1000, going to a street triple, to a Daytona, you know, those are all big jumps, and this is the biggest jump, I think, because I've never ridden anything like this, but it is a lot of fun. And, you know, the seat, I think I was just sitting in the wrong spot, but now it feels a lot more comfortable. You know, I was trying to ride this thing like a crotch rocket, and it wasn't working, so, you know, if you ride it the way it's meant to be ridden, you're going to have a good experience. And I think it has 6 gears, yeah, 6 speed, and, you know, cruising along, you're turning 3,000 RPMs at 55 miles per hour, so you're probably going to get good gas mileage. This thing is just awesome. I do like the sportier look of the thruxton, how it looks like a cafe racer, as compared to like something like the Bonneville. Like for me personally, if I was ever to get one of these, I'd probably get the thruxton, and then probably, you know, make it my own by, you know, blacking out some of the chrome parts. But as it sits, I still think it looks really cool. And even if you are in 6th gear and need to pass somebody, you know, you do have enough power to do so without downshifting. The gearbox is actually really smooth, and the clutch is really light. It's not a heavy clutch. I know my speed triple, the clutch was just so heavy, you know. It just, you know, you really did feel it in your hands after a while, but this clutch is pretty damn light, and that's not a bad thing. Can't wait to take it back into some twisties and kind of see how it does. Definitely going to go slower than the other bikes, but I do think if you were riding out, say you're a dad and you bought this bike and your son has a 600 and you're going to do some back roads and he's taking it, you know, semi-easy, you'll be able to keep up with him and you won't get blown away. I mean, this thing is no slouch. You know, it's not a race bike, but at the same time, it's not a Harley, you know. This thing is actually kind of in between, so it's pretty awesome. I know I always looked at them and admired them and thought they were really cool and just really awesome looking and sexy and everything like that, and, you know, it's sweet that it was kind of old school and everything, but kind of the same way the Ducati Sport Classic is. But, you know, now that I get to ride one, I never had the opportunity to ride one. They actually did me a favor and fit me in with this bike. I don't think this is a demo bike, but you know, let me hop on it, ride it, get a feel for it. I definitely can see why people do buy it. You know, if you're looking for something that's an all-out speed machine, this is not your bike. But if you're looking for something that is not too expensive, looks awesome, looks better than the Super Sports in my opinion, because it does look so classy and sweet. See if we keep up with this street triple. Very linear power band. You know, you get a lot of torque. You don't have to wait for the power to come on. You pretty much have it instantly. It's not shocking the amount of power it has, but at the same time, it's not slow. So this thing is pretty quick. I'm sure if they redesigned the thruxton and made it lighter, a little bit more powerful, it would be an amazing bike, you know, but I don't know if that's what they're going for, you know. The weight of the bike just makes it feel more stable when you're on the highway, you know. So all around, this is a pretty neat machine. Not, you know, it's not a crazy price tag like something like the Ducati Sport Classic. It's going to cost you a lot more than a thruxton, especially used thruxton, but I think your experience on it is going to be similar. I know what I'm wearing now looks probably absolutely ridiculous on this bike, but if you have the right getup, you know, black leather stuff and, you know, a black helmet or something, I'm sure it looks sick. You look pretty badass riding this thing around. So, hopefully you guys like it. Maybe you learned a thing or two. I don't know. I didn't really do much research before I did the review, just because I don't want to be influenced by other people and kind of just parrot what they say and just, you know, this is every man's review. I'm kind of the lowest common denominator with this stuff. So, but until next time, guys.